Morgana and Jax being taken away by ROCCAT. Morgana definitely been a strong champion and has been banned out a few times today.
A lot of top lane bans, I would say. You know, Ryze and Lulu are somewhat interchangeable, and it's interesting to see the Ryze banned out because with the nerfs to teleport, it's going to take him a long time to scale. Regardless, it's off the table, and I do see things like Thresh, like Braum, like Twitch, like Lucian still up and available for either of these teams to lock in. And as you keep talking about the Renekton, Freddy currently undefeated on that champion.
Also, a big one is Kayle. We'll see whether that gets banned out by ROCCAT. Both these teams have played that heavily. Kassadin also on the cards. ROCCAT, of course, have got a choice. They're going to let one of them through. It's going to be Kayle.
So, ROCCAT have...
going to get picked up.
ROCCAT and many other teams have let Kassadin through in the past, and most times...
there we go. He picked up 6 and then suddenly he's home like, Kayle, quick, type it in, type it in. Jez is screaming, I don't lock it in.
And of course, Jez is, used to be an AD carry player prior to joining a multitude of teams. He went on record as saying the Runan's Hurricane Kayle build and style reminds him very much of his ADC days, and it is one of those things that scales. SK can't afford to make the same mistakes that the Copenhagen Wolves made earlier because Kayle needs time to reach that point. Also, please do remember, Enraged has run support Kayle multiple times, so if picks and bans doesn't go the way SK wants, they always have the option to throw it into his hands or even leave it in Freddy's hands. Yep. A lot of versatility with that pick.
Absolutely, and that means Lee Sin is going to be left available for Jankos. I don't think Svenskeren is going to be too worried about that. We've seen him pulling out the likes of Jarvan over the last few weeks. Ziggs for overpower, though. We don't often see the mid lane at first pick for ROCCAT, but this time around, it seems they may well go for it. And it's going to leave the AD carry, possibly take away Lucian from Selavar. I'm not sure that's a choice they want to make, but it is going to be locked in.
Also, if you're acting on the assumption that Kayle is mid lane, you're allowing yourself to counterpick other lanes. So it's not necessarily terrible right now, but I do think getting a comfortable pick for Selavar is something that is very important for ROCCAT. When he is performing well, and when he's playing like he did last week in London, it can work. But Selavar did play a phenomenal Corki. So even if Lucian is taken away, you could see him running that Corki because it is a very effective champion. And I think he went unkilled last week, if memory serves. It was 9-0-3 or 9-0-6, somewhere along those lines.
Well, Caitlyn Panda is pulled out once again. It was drawn, I think it was against Alliance actually, he played Caitlyn, and it didn't go very well. But now, potentially, of course, we've already seen a Caitlyn be victorious in the hands of Tabs today. Wasn't expecting Caitlyn to come out, obviously, today, but seems to be back on the cards.
SK Gaming cannot afford to fall behind in the laning phase. Evelyn can do very well at punishing lanes if he can get ganks off with in the hands of Svenskeren. But Kayle and Caitlyn both need time to scale. Caitlyn, if he's going to go for the Infinity Edge into Shiv or Phantom Dancer, needs 8,500 gold before he hits that power spike. Kayle, similar story, needs Nash's Tooth, needs Rune on Hurricane. It's a lot of money, a lot of investment. So for SK Gaming against a Lee Sin, a potential Renekton and Ziggs, the laning phase is super crucial for ROCCAT. They need to do to SK what Fnatic did to the Copenhagen Wolves earlier. Get ahead and punish the late power spike in the current SK build.
Well, Vandalife might be making a return here as Thresh locked in for him. And Renekton, of course, for Xaxus in that top lane. This is where we see, will this be Kayle in the mid? Will it be top? Will they change things around?
So I like what ROCCAT has done. They have identified the strength in their gameplay as the current laning phase. And I do think they will be trying to look for head-to-head matchups. If Vander goes for the likes of a Lucian Thresh can do very well against Caitlyn Zara if they play aggressive. If they get in their faces and punish, the burst damage of Lucian can do well against Caitlyn. But if Candy Panda or Caitlyn Panda is able to zone out Selavar and Vander, that's when the lane's going to go bad for them. So we need to keep an eye on how aggressive these two duo lanes play, if, of course, they do go head-to-head.
Well, I can put money on Lucian being the final lock-in for ROCCAT here. We do see Zyra was selected by N-Rated, and also Aatrox for Freddy in that top lane. It's a champion who's played before, and there is the Lucian selection for ROCCAT. Selavar's going to play that. Who are we kidding?
Yeah, I think so too. If not, it's going to be Corki. You've got a good mixture of damage here on the side of ROCCAT, but just to wrap up the SK composition, you do have a fairly late-game scaling team comp. Aatrox, again, is going to be reliant on getting himself to that Blade of the Ruined King, or alternatively going for the likes of that Ravenous Hydra. We have seen both build paths in the past. The sustain on Aatrox will do very well against the damage and the poke that Renekton's putting down early on, but it is all about the mid to late game power spike for SK Gaming. So if SK were to initiate a lane swap, that could put them in the deciding and controlling factor when forcing ROCCAT's hands, and it would also open up Svenskeren to go for tower dives or for more ganks. Generally, when you're in those 1v1 and 2v2s, it's a little more predictable to keep your eyes on Evelyn. So for ROCCAT, they want to be disrupting SK. I think they've got very good lane matchups, especially pre-6 in all of their lanes. So ideally, ROCCAT will be looking for head-to-head with Jankos trying to force flashes early and then punishing for those force flashes. It's something that he has done this split and last split.
We'll see whether anyone picks up the exhaust. I don't think it's really required, which is why everyone's sitting on all the ignites at the moment. We'll see whether that switches round as the game loads in. Teleports, of course, for both the top lane as well. Standard setup, I think, so far. We'll see who comes out on top in this one.
To just comment on the lack of exhaust and the ignites for both of the supports, you almost expect, because of this high level of aggression, they want to just set up those kills, especially when you've got an Evelyn that can roam and flank. The CC from Aatrox, the CC from Zyra allows you to set up lane ganks and lane kills. But it's all going to come down to those matchups. Who's going to get the most favorable one?
We'll see how those matchups work out, ladies and gentlemen, with the champions selected. Do you still think SK is going to come out ahead? Tweet at LOL Esports and use the hashtag SKWin or ROCCWin, and let us know who you think will win this matchup. Of course, we'll check in on those votes as the game progresses. So, game loading in, ROCCAT on a 4-game win streak. Can they take down SK? If they do, they're doing everybody a favor, including the likes of Fnatic, who are chasing them hard.
Yeah, and I think for ROCCAT, they need to get ahead early. I do like the scaling options. I do like the power that SK Gaming can build up as the game progresses. In addition, the split pushing opportunities are there for SK as well. So it's a very similar story that we've been seeing through most of our games here today. And the pressure's on ROCCAT to make it happen.
So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Final game of the day. SK Gaming starting out as that blue team, up against ROCCAT as the red team, who are protecting their win streak. And honestly, I spent a lot of time with these guys in the airport as we had a lovely 4-hour delay at Heathrow. ROCCAT, of course...
You sound bitterly.
They were not very confident. They were not very confident in their play, despite the fact they've gone 2-0 the last 2 weeks. They still don't feel very confident in their play. And we obviously heard Veggie just before this matchup talking about that confidence. Of course, is it a coincidence that Veggie's gone into the house and suddenly they've won 4 games in a row? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Maybe his influence is really working for them.
I dare say that this game is the rite of passage for ROCCAT. This is the game that tests them because SK are performing well. They've had a few sketchy marks on their record, but generally, you do feel that SK individually and as a team are performing solidly. Keep in mind, Jez's champion pool has been hit as the split has gone on, but the strength of Kayle and the fact that he's proven himself on that champion should play into his favor.
We'll see how it works out for them. Of course, we did have some cheeky gaming from Gambit in the last matchup, taking away both those blue buffs. As it stands this time, I tell a lie, it wasn't Gambit that did that, it was Super Hokri that did it. And as it stands, it doesn't look like there's going to be anything, and it could be actually standard meta as well. And you know, I was talking to Reckless earlier on, talking about how it's so hard to get into a 2v2 these days. Well, it looks like both ROCCAT and SK want that 2v2.
Yeah, it definitely looks to be the case. And I like the fact that Vanda's also gone for that Relic Shield. As opposed to going for the Talisman, Relic Shield's going to give you more combat stats, allow you to trade a little more frequently and a little more evenly. And I think for Celiva and Vanda, if they get off to a good start in the opening levels, it would do them a whole lot of justice and help. Especially if Celiva goes for the Blade of the Ruined King build versus the Infinity Age build that Candy Panda is what I'm expecting. It means there's going to be this window of opportunity where Vanda and Celiva can pressure, out-trade, and out-sustain his opponents. But again, it all depends on how these first few levels go and who picks up those first few items.
We'll see how it develops. Of course, level 2 will be the key for both of these teams, which is why we're sticking around down here. We want to see who gets it. So far, it's going to be SK that are pushing the advantage, and of course, they should hit that level 2 early, but I don't think they're going to go too aggressive here. Vanda, of course, hasn't got that play available just yet, and he may well have done. Not sure what he leveled up at the start. Jankos is going to make an appearance down the bottom here. Candy
Panda and Enrated are doing a good job at using their range to their advantage, and they're immediately punishing Celiva and Vanda. Vanda need to get a few levels, and then they need to turn it around. If they can get a death sentence or a flay, and combo it with the burst damage of Lucian, it'll work out in their favor. Jankos is on his blue buff. He's already secured it, so a little bit late from Svenskeren, but it will at least get the timing on that one.
He's going to go for him, though. He's unseen. He could just come in and just simply smite it. No, he hasn't got smite available. He's going to go for him. There we go. Jankos taking the damage from the back there. He's taking the white damage as well, but they're going to try and turn this one around. Jankos, of course, now trying to push back on towards him. Oh, he misses the kick. That's not good. He has to safeguard away to his team, but the rest of ROCCAT moving in on towards this one. Vander, can he throw it out? Oh, it's a great rubber ducky. Such a chance from Overpower. Now Overpower's in trouble. Ignite running. He needs the shield from Vander. I'm not sure it's available. He's just about sustains it with the help of the Total Biscuit.
Yeah, so manages to keep himself alive. A very aggressive play from Svenskeren, but luckily had the support of Jesus. The damage in conjunction with the Ignite onto Overpower forced him backwards. Look at Sven and Jankos. Oh, he's got it!
He's gone towards him. Svenskaren's going to get caught out, and Jankos gets himself first blood.
Managing to punish Svenskeren. I think Sven is playing overly aggressive. You know, that invade backfired. He immediately turns himself to an invade on the Wraith camp, and that backfires as well. Gives up first blood, no assist gold to anyone on ROCCAT, but Jankos will be very happy with that. And that's what you're looking for if you're Jankos. And also, Svenskeren burned his flash in the previous blue buff invade. So if Jankos can find him again in his next few levels, he may be able to punish him.
That's a very, very, very dangerous game to play up against the Lee Sin. They're not weak in the jungle early on, that's for sure. If anything, they're one of the strongest. Xaxus in this top lane. We know this is going to be very much in the hands of Renekton early on. We'll see how Freddy deals with it. Of course, he's well versed of how Renekton can play in this matchup. Aatrox has been the champion of his choice. Honestly, for probably the last 3 years, he was always fell back to it. Back into the Against All Authority days as well. He even sometimes fell over to it.
Yeah, and we do see them just playing good. Oh, there's so much damage!
What is he doing? He just strolls on forward, the Ignite running. He is going to get away with that, but that was dangerous, dangerous play. Not sure. He just walked in towards the tower.
Yeah, complete misplay. Either a misclick or just not paying attention. A good reaction from Vander. We'll carry on with that in a second, as it looks like SK wants to dive on Xaxus. A knockup might be key here if they can hold him in place.
They need to try and catch on towards him. It's a good slice and dice, and Xaxus flashes out of that knockup. Flash burn, though.
Yeah, flash burn, so rinse and repeat from Svenskeren can work in his favor. And Candy Panda, no flash. So Jankos will be aware of this information, and he needs to look to punish, because Candy Panda and Rated have been playing super aggressively in that bottom lane. They've pushed ROCCAT back to their tower the entire time this lane. And because of the damage Candy Panda's taken, he's backed off. It's allowed Celiva to close up the CS. This is going to be a 2v2 in the mid lane. Svenskeren with no flash. Jankos has his flash. And of course, it's going to be on Jankos to start.
Well, they see him.
Because SK were overextended.
They know he's there. He walked past that ward. You can see just below him. They're going to instead try and sneak around the side. Again, he's been sneaking in there. He doesn't realize he's completely spotted out here. SK, are they going to react to it? They're trying to play this one so coy. You can see Jez is off the side. Svenskeren, now he's gone towards the Wraith. Now they're going to make the move. Svenskeren comes in towards him. Hasn't got the double buff. Red buff from Jankos may help him out here. He's going to have to ward jump across to the pit and safeguards away.
Manages to get out cleanly, but he doesn't give up a kill. Very, very important. Svenskeren had his smite as well, so could have even smited that big Wraith away. And Jankos feeling more confident. That's the first play that we've seen him make. He hasn't gone for any gank attempts yet. Svenskeren's been much more present around the map, and obviously been punished for that. So we need to keep a very close eye on how and when Jankos decides to invade. Flash, still unavailable for Sven. Obviously not even halfway off cooldown for Candy Panda. And I think without that flash, I would expect N-Rated and Candy Panda to play safer, to play more passive in that bottom lane.
So Candy Panda came back to lane with the double Dorans and boots, whereas Celiva chose to sit on 650 gold he came back with from that lane, getting the double Doran's blade. So he's going to try and save, try and get that Bilgewater Cutlass as quick as possible.
Yeah, I think so too. And the standard double Dorans into Infinity Edge gives you 6% life. Oh, they've got N-Rated.
N-Rated pulled in towards the tower, but the tower not quite doing the damage. And Celiva, Candy Panda putting the damage down towards him. He's very close to 6 here. If he hits it, he could fire off that ace and all, but I don't think he's going to get it this way.
No, Summoner Heal's also available for Celiva in just a few seconds, so he may stick around and try play the heal bait. Keep in mind the sustain from Relic Shield is also playing into his favor. So it does look like Candy Panda and Rated have used their range just so well. They've been punishing Celiva and Vander so hard that they've never been able to engage. And if Celiva and Vander had been maybe more aggressive at lower levels, got more damage down, they could have regained control, but it's simply not the case. And they've had no support. Jankos has not been down there to help out. He hasn't tried to gank anywhere, in fact, but he has got himself a decent CS advantage over Svenskeren and obviously secure first line.
So blue buff for Jezzers. We'll see how we haven't really kept our eye on this one. It's been pretty much focused on that bottom lane, and obviously for obvious reasons they are putting the damage back and forth. Jankos now, level 6. He's going to come and see if that kick can help him out. No, level 6 so far for ROCCAT. And of course, meanwhile, you can see Candy Panda. They're about to hit it. Vander goes in. Good flare towards Candy Panda. Quickly tries to get away from this one. Jankos, can he get the other side?
Oh!
Yeah, he can. Kicks Candy Panda back in. He's going down. It's Sullivan with the kill.
Very good play. Thanks to Jankos. He had to flash forward to get the kick. Vander's death sentence was just so close. What I like from Jankos is he hesitated. He didn't instantly flash until that death sentence had missed. And once it was obvious that it hadn't connected, he punishes Candy Panda for that previous misplay earlier and not having his flash available. So ROCCAT going to give themselves a kill advantage early.
And that forces Candy Panda into the pickaxe. So that's going to slow things down. Look at this though, Panda's so low. He's going to go down, and Rated will be the one that gets the kill. The Salavar's in trouble as well. Svenskeren catching on towards him, has the flash, does use the heal as well, keeps himself safe. Stands on a trap just at the end.
Vision is up, and Candy Panda's coming with the ace in the hole. He's trying to get himself in range. I think Sullivan should be okay. But the fact that Candy Panda got that pickaxe means it delays his Infinity Edge build by a massive amount. He needs to resave back up to 1500. So Sullivan, with the aid of Jankos getting the kill, means their window of opportunity to punish is going to be higher. I completely retract everything I just said because Sullivan's gone for a BF sword first. So he's going to go for the Infinity Edge build. We've seen it earlier today. Tabs are saying Caitlyn, with the same items as Lucian, thanks to the range, will outscale and do better. But at least for the next few minutes, Sullivan's going to have the damage advantage, obviously, because he's got the BF sword.
It's great to see, you know, even the pros, you know, you'd even see this in solo queue, normal games, whatever you're playing, people disagreeing with your build.
Yeah.
Well, the AD carries at the top level in Europe disagree with each other's builds.
Yep.
So there's nothing new there. Of course, we saw Reckless on Lucian earlier going for the Yomu's Ghost Blade, and of course, Blade of the Rune King. Zazza's going on towards Freddy, interrupts him while he's trying to make that bite. Zazza himself, of course, has just come back with that Bilgewater Cutlass teleport was used, and that may actually trigger SK to go for Dragon right now. Svenskoren's just going to make another visit to the bottom lane.
So SK with the numbers could go for Dragon and use teleport bottom lane. Alternatively, Freddy may feel he needs to teleport top to defend the tower because of the fact that Zazza's interrupted that recall. So ends up trading. Zazza started his recall earlier, not the biggest of adjustments. And Sven was sniffing around the bottom lane. So for the time being, ROCCAT doing a decent job in these early stages, but even with an additional kill to their name, things are even on gold, and CS is pretty close across the board. So I do feel that they need to try and punish harder, as they've got a very strong early to mid-game team comp.
Candy Panda taking some damage, giving it back. Candy Panda takes the call in there. Death Sentence not quite landed. Svenskeren again trying to come around the side there, but ROCCAT are in numbers. And they may be going for Dragon. This could be a bad era for ROCCAT.
This is going to be very risky. Agony's Embrace is just becoming available for Svenskeren. Ace in the Hole is available for Candy Panda. This is going to be a three-man shield. Oh, they've peeled away.
Oh, they catch a grasping root on there. You can see Overpower joins them. Jesus is about to join this one. There's going to be the Ace in the Hole landing on Jankos. Jankos is tanking out the Dragon and taking a hell of a lot of damage just on the side there. He does manage to secure it, but now Jesus comes in. He fancies a piece of this. He gets on towards Vander. Good explosive satchel. It's not going to quite be enough there. Satchel charge, and it's 2 kills for SK Gaming. So nevertheless, Svenskeren went down. It's another for Sullivan.
Yeah, so 2 for 1 in favor of SK, but ROCCAT gets the Dragon. And remember, on this patch, Dragon is worth more gold at the earlier stages of the game. So ROCCAT are going to maintain even gold footing. They've actually got 100 ahead, so it is very, very close. But very importantly, they have timing on that next one, and we'll see if they want to make a play. You know, ROCCAT have played games where they've controlled every Dragon, and they've had games where they've lost every Dragon, but still done relatively well.
That top lane, we talked earlier on that Zazza should be bullying it out, but it appears that Freddy thinks otherwise. He's got himself the CS advantage. They are equal in level, and it is not going the way it should do in this top lane, which may well be a big problem for Zazza's late on. That may be why Jankos is choosing to pay a visit to the top.
The times we have seen this top lane, it doesn't look like Zazza's have been trying to punish. He's got the support of Jankos, and he's going to re-engage.
Svenskoren's nearby. There's the ultimate coming out from Freddy. He tries to pounce himself away. Oh, the kick from Jankos was not good. It sends Freddy to safety. And Svenskeren was not even needed.
So Flash blown, though. Keep that in mind. Even though the Dragon's Rage was not great, Flash has been burned from SK Gaming. So Jankos with another, you could call that a successful gank. Burning the summoner spell is always crucial. Celiba's alone in this lane, so that's how much damage he takes. Just the one auto attack. Also, thanks to the kill Candy Panda secured, he is now equal in AD damage with Celiba, with both the pickaxe, longsword, and double Dorans.
So, mid lane we've not had a chance to really discuss. We did see Jez, of course, picking up a kill. He's got that Nash's now complete, and he's merrily going about his business, as is Overpower. They've been keeping even with farm between the two. Athene's was picked up, of course, by Ziggs. Despite the changes it's had, it's still very much a viable item for that Ziggs. Blue buffs being traded again. Overpower's going to go and collect his in just a moment's time. We can see the two pairings backing off, and very even between these two. Neither gone too aggressive. They're just happy to take it late game.
No, and I think SK are going to be extremely happy with that. They've got a team comp that does scale well, and they're also going to have more options to play with. I think ROCCAT can do well at defending split push and defending sieges because they have Ziggs. I mean, that's always going to be something they can do well. They can also siege very well. But for SK Gaming, having a Kayle and an Aatrox, who are both very good in those sort of side lane pushes, they've got good wave clear, and thanks to, you know, the revive on Aatrox and the invulnerability on Kayle, they can also do well in the dueling situation. I think for SK to accelerate and grab control of this game, they can play the map, they can play the side lanes, but the key is to bait out the Mega Inferno Bomb. The key is to force Overpower to use his ultimate and then take advantage of that window of opportunity. And this is good damage from Jez.
That was a good bounce over with the Satchel charge, forces Jez into the turret, and Ignite used out there from Overpower.
I think he was maybe a little scared of Jez going all in, really going for that kill. Vanda's just fallen so far behind in CS. 20 odd at this stage, just all stems from that strong level 1, and the tower's going down.
Oh, you can see he's not going to quite catch out. Vanda, the Ignite running in, Rated will get it. There goes the tower, and now ROCCAT in all sorts of trouble. Jankos tries to get across the side. He has to flash away. The ward will give his position away, but he is safe. But it's another kill for SK Gaming, and they'll keep pushing. They've got a big wave.
Yeah, Candypan and Rated are just completely smashing this lane. The range on Caitlyn, as well as the poke damage from Enrated, they landed good grasping roots, kill Vanda, and they haven't let up. Now, I think for Overpower to defend this turret, he may want to consider the Mega Inferno Bomb when the minion wave gets there, but SK need to buy a lot of time. They've got very few minions to really work with, and it looks like Celeva's done a good job at getting rid of them.
Okay, just being cautious. Jankos catching the Sonic Wave on Svenskeren will give his position away, and ROCCAT moving in numbers into position. Pink ward will go down. Dragon's a long way off here. Oh, that's a good bouncing bomb, catching both members of SK. You're talking about the CS, you've got to be careful. Of course, there is the Targon's Embrace on Rock Vanda, so of course CS will be gifted across to him. That's going to keep it fairly even in gold.
It does still add to Celeva's count. So even though it is 19, so the thing is, Celeva has done okay considering how badly he's been punished. Celeva and Van have not made any very aggressive plays without the assistance of Jankos, and because he's going for the Infinity Edge build, he needs to make sure that with the rest of his team, he gets those auto attacks down early on. Because in this exact matchup, Infinity Edge Caitlyn versus Infinity Edge Lucian, we've seen Caitlyn come out ahead. You know, Creatine lost to Tabs earlier today. So we need to keep very close on how ROCCAT, with Jankos and Zazas, get in the faces of SK. For the time being, I think they've played too passive. I think they've had champions that could have punished SK harder, and Jankos has been content to farm and not necessarily had the strongest ganking opportunities.
Now Freddy is just getting stronger and stronger in that top lane. Mega Inferno Bomb was used in the mid lane. They're going to have the timer on that one. Jesus wipes that wave out straight away and pushes it back out towards him. He's going to go back, gets himself a Void Staff as the second item now on Ziggs.
So that's a slightly different route to what we're used to seeing. In addition to the unique Void Staff second item, you've got Enrated who's gone for a Haunting Guise as his sort of first complete after that compulsory GP10 and Sightstone. I really like looking at the supports this patch because Vanda's gone Relic, he didn't go Talisman, probably anticipation of the 2v2 and the combat. But because Enrated's gone for that AP damage, it means SK are also going to be doing significantly more team fights with the additional damage that Zyra's picked up. And just great positioning means SK have got the option to start Dragon. Teleports up for both top laners, and if ROCCAT engage, they need to get through the Stranglethorns of Enrated Zyra.
Sonic Wave on Svenskeren doesn't get followed through. No Lee Sin zone this time around. Dragon will get started out. SK taking it fairly quickly. ROCCAT moving in numbers though. It's a 4-on-4. Death Sentence lands on towards Svenskeren. They do not follow through. This time they do. Teleports coming out from both Freddy and Zazas. Zazas going straight into SK to strain towards them. There's intervention on Freddy. He turns it back around. Freddy with the damage onto Vanda. Gets kicked away. Doesn't matter. SK coming out on top of this one. Mega Inferno Bomb whiffing from Overpower. And Jessis is just cleaving his way to victory over Overpower. That's a double for him. Sullivan backing out there with Zazas. Well, ROCCAT just decimated in that fight. It's 3 for 1 to SK and the Dragons.
Such good control and coordination from SK. The presence of mind to put the snap trap down on the teleporting ward means the moment Xaxus arrives, he's locked up. That happens on the right-hand side of your screen. You'll see that's an instantly cast from Candy Panda. And we talked about how difficult it is to engage through that Stranglethorns. When Freddy gets in trouble, the rest of ROCCAT have to peel away. They can't pop his passive, not only because of the Stranglethorns, but because the intervention saved them as well. And SK just keep their damage threats on their opponent's damage for a significantly longer period of time. Because Xaxus was forced away as soon as the fight began, there's no front line for ROCCAT, and there was nothing to prevent SK running through them. So a strong 3 for 1 in favor of SK.
And that, of course, Mega Inferno Bomb missing is a big key element in the damage for ROCCAT. And if that doesn't hit its point, they were pretty clumped, but they backed away. I could understand why he threw it to that point, trying to catch him in that little bottleneck. And instead, SK quick to react, stepping away from that one. So everybody returning to lanes, despite the fact that early aggression, the Dragon going down. You can see both ADs back in that bottom lane, and both junglers moving towards the top.
Very extended laning phase from these two teams. I mean, 20 minutes, we've seen the Dragons. We are going to see a 2v2 in terms of top laners, but the support for SK is much higher. Look at both Enrated and Jezz's. If something were to break out, they can roam up there very, very quickly. And I think smart play from ROCCAT not to look for the engage. But again, ROCCAT, they are falling behind, and their opponent's team comp is going to start overtaking them. Freddy's done such a good job in staying even with Xaxus. He's actually ahead of Xaxus as far as the CS is concerned. And he's got that built-in blood well. He's going to be quite a lot more relevant with a multi-man slow and a multi-man knock-up in team fights. So in terms of CC and utility, he's also going to be doing more than Renekton can.
With those 2 towers down, SK want to go aggressive on this one. Oh, Freddy having to pop the ultimate there and keep ROCCAT at bay.
That felt a little awkward.
That was a little awkward from ROCCAT there.
Yeah, Xaxus really feeling the pressure, I think. Opening with Build Water Cutlass, Jankos wasn't even in range to safeguard, and Freddy basically just popped his Blade of the Rune King, his own ultimate down, and stepped away quite safely. SK are going to continue playing this one safe. They're going to continue farming this out, keep hitting their item thresholds, wait for Jezz's to hit a big power threshold, wait for Freddy to get himself probably, looks like the makings of a Randian's Omen, could be Sunfire Cape. And then once they feel they've got their item requirements, bait out the Mega Inferno Bomb and just push the lanes.
Jez is pushing in that mid lane, of course. They have a lot of damage on those turrets. See the Rabadon's Death Cap getting slowly built up by Jez. That's going to be his second item, it seems. Oh, will it be? We'll see the Ace in the hole coming through on towards Overpower. It's going to choke him down back in the top lane. They're going for round 3 onto Freddy.
Well, we'll see if they can get the kill. Jankos misses the Sonic Wave.
Yeah, he's just going to walk away from this one. I don't think he's going to get caught out. The good invulnerability again from Jez is stopping all of the damage, and that will be the turret. That's what SK wanted. Freddy does go down in the top, but that's the middle turret going down. They did lose Svenskeren in the process, so a toe for 0. But it's an inner turret.
ROCCAT need to punish. Because they've got the numbers advantage, they have the opportunity to push in both the top lane and this bottom lane. But the wave clear from Candy Panda, as well as Enrated, may be enough to defend it. So 2 kills and trading a tower for tower, ROCCAT should be happy with that trade. But what I like from SK is they completely said, we don't care you've got Ziggs. We can force a tower. We know you're going to go for Freddy. So while you're doing that, give us the objective we feel it's more important.
Well, Blue Buff is going to get forced towards instead. They're going to 5-man this mid lane because it's not available. You can see they're all rushing around towards it, but with the wave clear that Candy Panda is offering currently, he's keeping them at bay. I mean, we'll be a little too far. There's going to be Stranglethorns thrown down. It does force them away. Jankos is actually taken very low from this one. The rest of SK are now back up and running as Enrated tries to catch on towards them. A grasping route would be the death of someone from ROCCAT, and they're backing off. SK, they can take what they want on the map. This
all stems from the fact that SK forced that inner turret. They may have bitten off more than they consumed. In fact, they did, because they lost an additional tower. SK played aggressive, they played brave, and they've given up their first 2 towers of the game. They still have a gold lead. They still have map control, because the moment SK's team members respawned and made it back to the lane, ROCCAT were in full retreat. So it's not all bad, but it did feel like somewhat of a forced engage from SK. And they just need to be a little careful, because the longer the game goes, the more punishing those mistakes are. I mean, Super Hard Crew learned firsthand against Gambit just a moment ago.
Going back to the conversation with Reckless that actually Deficio was talking to him as well earlier on, talking about the Infinity Edge. You know, it's how it takes, what, 25 minutes to get a reasonable 2-item build, which you can see we're at the 23-minute mark and both of them close to there. There's the Phantom Dancer along with that Infinity Edge, so now Caitlyn is happy, and we're talking about how Caitlyn would become relevant. It's like, no, 25 minutes, you know. And Deficio said, I hate to tell you, man, the average EU game time is 42 minutes. Exactly. It doesn't matter if it takes 25 minutes, we're going to get to that level. Not very often do we get games that short. If we do, SK Gaming involved this time around though, they're not going to be closing the game out that quick.
No, definitely not. And with the item build that Jesus has gone for Death Cap after the Nash's Tooth, he's also going for more of a burst build. He's got sustained damage from both Freddy, who's gone Blade of the Rune King, and Candy Panda with Infinity Edge. So I like the adaptation from Jesus' side to go for the more burst option because he's got damage elsewhere. N-Rated's built damage as well. So why not supplement your consistent damage, damage over time with burst damage? And we'll see how it works out. Dragon's respawning. The last time ROCCAT tried to challenge, they overextended into the Stranglethorns and the Intervention from Kayle. And they need to make sure they prevent that. Also, they can't afford to be split up. Xaxus, his teleport was so telegraphed, he got countered.
Oh, the Grasping Root does not land. They were off the side, and he pulled the trigger a little bit too early. Mega Inferno Bomb is not available. That was used a moment ago. Dragon gets taken. Svenskeren clears that one up. Freddy dives in towards him. Stranglethorns will bounce Vander in the air. He's not really the focus target, but there's a kill nonetheless. Bloodwell popped off there. Overpower doing a lot of damage on towards Freddy, and now SK are in the retreat, just off of the side. N-Rated trying to catch on towards Xaxus, forcing him back. SK feel they've got the positional advantage. Overpower's trying to sniff on towards Candy Panda. SK moving in force, but Overpower keeping the bombs rolling, and SK trying to keep advantage on this one. Another bomb catches, and ROCCAT are safe for now.
There's just not enough ability power for Overpower, and he used his Mega Inferno Bomb to scout. So even though multiple members of SK got low, they couldn't finish them off because they couldn't extend fast. They couldn't get through the disengaged power that N-Rated and Zyra offered. Dragon for SK, a kill for SK, they extend their gold lead to 5,000. And the vision game is just super in favor of SK. Look at the wards that they've got around Dragon, the vision that they'd set up. So they had all of the time in the world to make the decision that was the best for them. You see a little bit of a fight, and ROCCAT, gotta be careful, okay? He's done a lot of damage.
Overpower getting focused on SK, reacting to this one. Good defense on that turret. ROCCAT thought they could just roll on down there instead. SK had not fully committed to backing away from this one, and now Jesus is running defensive duties. Off the side, Grasping Roots thrown in. Xaxus taking some serious plant damage from N-Rated. Remember, he has that Leandris now. Focus on there. Salabar taking some serious hits from Jesus. He flashes in for this one. Turns back towards Jankos, and ROCCAT are on the retreat.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get away. Here comes Freddy!
Diving straight in amongst them. A great play from Vander is Maywell enough. Instead, Mega Inferno Bomb turns it back around. Jankos focuses on, catches out Jesus. Now they're going to try and turn it back around. Candy Panda catches on towards the side of Jankos, and now SK are the ones retreating.
They trade 1-for-1, but Saliver was in full retreat, and ROCCAT could not continue that fight even if they wanted to. Freddy with a good teleport to flank from the sides allows them to at least force ROCCAT back, but ROCCAT going to be happy with that trade. They also got the killing spree bonus away from Jesus and secure their own blue buff. So ROCCAT are hanging in there by the skin of their teeth. The key thing to note is Freddy's teleport. He comes from the back lines, and N-Rated as well as Svenskeren and Jesus are trying to chase down, but there's a lot of mobility on the side of ROCCAT, so they're able to escape quite efficiently. Just obviously Jankos biting off a little more than he can chew in that kill.
And that was incredible to see Sullivan getting away, because his hit points were next to nothing. But if it wasn't for that flay from Vander saving his AD carry, it could have gone very wrong for ROCCAT. As it is, it's still almost in the hands of SK Gaming. ROCCAT still proving in a team fight they can pull something off if they land the right hits on the right targets. It's been a little bit messy though for them.
Yeah, it has been. And unfortunately for ROCCAT, you know, Kayle has got so much damage, hitting Lichbane status shortly, so that burst damage is going to go higher. Randion's Omen, Frozen Heart, Phantom Dance, and Infinity, even Leandri's Torment. If you compare N-Rated with Leandri's, Sork Shoes, and Vision, in comparison to Vander, yeah, Vander's got a whole bunch of HP with that Face of the Mountain and the Sightstone rather, but that's it. He doesn't offer a lot more other than the utility of his Death Sentences and Flays, and the problem is, ROCCAT aren't able to stand and fight long enough for that utility to matter. Because Xaxis is behind, because Jankos is behind, and obviously because Overpower is still not blowing people up, but he did just finish his Death Cap. So Death Cap, Void Staff, those are sort of your core items on Ziggs, and it'll be up to Overpower to help turn the tide of these fights with good bouncing bombs.
ROCCAT that began the 1-3-1 split push in Europe back in the spring, but right now it's SK Gaming that are keeping the pressure on them from that extent. Candy Panda pushes the wave on the bottom and rejoins his team in the mid lane. Freddy, meanwhile, going very aggressive on Xaxis there. We see Overpower joining them. Freddy quickly dives back away from that one. Candy Panda is going to start some free time on this turret. The rest of his team are coming around. They're going to take it.
Yeah, there's so much damage between these champions that I think they've got this one. Mega Inferno Bomb could maybe save the tower. In fact, it's going to be the Culling. That tower for tower and the ultimate. That's a good play. And SK just continuing to play the map. This is what we said they can do. As the game goes on, SK's team can split push, can move around the map more effectively, and they can play the mini-map more effectively because ROCCAT have to be clumped. ROCCAT have to remain together in order to be relevant. The only person that can afford to maybe be off on the sideline will be Overpower to prevent or delay those wave pushes. And obviously, if he does that, he runs the risk of being singled out.
SK going to go spend that hard-earned gold they've got. We'll see what items pop in. You can see 1,400 on both Xaxis and Sullivan as well for ROCCAT, so they could do with spending some. So Trinity Force now completed by Sullivan. He has a big damage spike in there. Candy Panda has been farming away as well. He's going to back off in just a few moments. He's got 1,300 gold on himself. So we'll see which way they go with this one. Freddy, of course, completed that Randy into Omen. And Xaxis went for that Suntai Cape very early on. Both with the Bladed Rune King and both keeping relatively even in terms of split, but Freddy, you feel, has the advantage.
Yeah, big time. Freddy's had the advantage this whole game. Xaxis has never really bullied Freddy, and Jankos has, while he's got himself a few kills, he hasn't been scary. He hasn't been a terrifyingly sin. 1 or 2 decent kicks, but truthfully, SK just played patiently, they played controlled, and now with, with that Lich Bane, with that Last Whisper, they've got item thresholds. I think Candy Panda, with Last Whisper, Phantom Lance, and IE, should be able to deal with Saliva as long as he keeps a little bit at range. Auto attack, 90 caliber, and keep some distance between himself and Saliva, and that eye-edge Trinity Force should be counterable.
There's Freddy, is he going to catch on towards Overpower? Pow runs away straight away from that one. SK moving into position. Dragon is now available. Yeah, Xaxis is in the top. He has got that teleport, but of course last time we saw that happen, went straight into a trap from SK. And SK starting this Dragon off. There's the teleport coming in. I've got a feeling SK are going to take this one. Now they're going to peel. Stranglethorns comes in there. Sullivan quickly taken to safety, and they're going to try and turn it back around on Svenskeren. Quickly puts that shield back on towards it. Sullivan just cleaved straight down by Freddy and Svenskeren. Don't even know why he got caught out there. Don't even know why he walked past them.
Saliva went the wrong direction. The rest of his team went right. Jankos is going to get interrupted. The rest of... Oh
dear.
Small mistake.
Sorry, nobody saw it.
Nobody did. They've got Xaxis.
Xaxis in trouble. He's going to get cleaved out. Jesus picks on him, and Vander has not got the hit points. He's going to get taken down. That's a good Mega Inferno bomb. But now Overpower's locked out of position. He goes down. And that satchel charge just simply bounces Svenskeren away. They can take what they want. Will they push for the tower?
Candy Panda's bringing the minions. SK Gaming have got all the damage in the world. Freddy's just going to tank it up. This should be the inhibitor secured. With 30-second death timers for Xaxis and Overpower, SK Gaming once again perform the dragon fight just perfectly. They deal with ROCCAT's threat rather, and back away. It looks like SK want to break ROCCAT's winning streak.
You can see that's going to be half the hit points already for Jankos. He has to back away. SK with an inhibitor taken, and seemingly the game, they just back off. 11,000 gold lead right now. With that inhib down, of course, Super Minions will be pushing in. ROCCAT are going to react. They're going to rush straight for Baron, it seems.
Oh, this could go horribly wrong. Because ROCCAT are coming in drips and drabs, they don't have the damage if they wanted to rush it down, and it would be enough time for SK Gaming to get there quite quickly. Teleport is up for Freddy. There's movement speed for Kale, for Evelyn. We need to see how quick they can do this. I'm assuming they're going to back out. Jesus may look for a kill. Yeah, they've got to back away. Sullivan, oh my word!
2 hits on Sullivan. That is what it does.
That might be Baron for SK. Because they forced both Jankos and Saliva away, know that they need to heal, rather. Ooh, that was close. This should be Baron for SK if they want to, because they know they're going to have the numbers advantage Waiting for Candy Panda. What's the call? Freddy wants it, but you can see they're a bit split. The rest of the team deciding against it.
Well, Freddy normally makes the calls and they normally follow, but it seems that this time around, Jez is like, I have not even had a chance to back and buy. He's got 2.2k on him, so it's a potentially wise choice. Dangerous play, would have been risky. Gets himself the Runeon's Hurricane. Oh, tell a lie, he didn't. He went towards the
Void Staff.
Void Staff,
Yeah.
so he hasn't gone for the Hurricane.
It's all burst. With Sorcerer's Shoes, he's going full burst. He's got so much damage from everyone else. This is just the only thing SK's team comp is lacking. And you could probably theorize the reason SK didn't go for the Baron play was because they're against the Ziggs. The steal potential with bombs, Mega Inferno is real, and there was numbers around for the rest of ROCCAT. Denying vision, and as I say that, Ziggs was in the bottom lane, so he's needing to respond, and I think SK are going to secure this one.
Oh, he's in the hole, grasping root. He has to take the Lantern. Mega Inferno Bomb not going to steal, and that's a dead Jankos.
Yeah,
Well, I
can't
mean,
quite understand that one.
he went in a little bit too late on that one. Went straight into Candy Panda.
So SK instantly stopped Baron the moment Overpower revealed himself in the bottom lane. I think they calculated the time that it would take to get in there, and regardless of the reasoning, they secure themselves Baron, they get another kill, and SK are just going to set their sights on another inhibitor turret. Salava uses his culling on the champions, not the minion wave. I don't think it makes a difference because SK are just melting these objectives.
Yeah, Freddy just takes the culling and basically loses nothing. He teleports to the top. He wants that wave to push in as quick as possible. SK Gaming suddenly have a buster catch or something because they want to finish the game right now.
Yeah, the distance, the reason they are so far ahead is allowing them to just use that teleport. You know, Freddy's not worried, pushes the minion wave up, and there's very little ROCCAT can do. If SK want to tower dive, they can go under the turret and use Stranglethorns to completely zone out and control ROCCAT's movements. This has been a very, very strong performance in the mid game for SK. They survived the laning phase well, and they're punishing ROCCAT hard to close this game out.
I'm pretty sure Jankos cannot take down Svenskeren there. Not sure why they're even trying to duel it out there. He's got the Baron buff, he's got double buff on him. And of course,
Got a Warmog and
key member on
Frozen
there.
Heart.
Yeah, there's not a lot he's going to do towards him. Ace in the hole and Sullivan. And Freddy's going to walk in, they're going to take this one down. Jez's will do the damage. Mega Inferno Bomb lands on 4 of them. But ROCCAT now without any inhibitor turrets. They're going to keep focusing. They're really desperately trying to pull something off here. Svenskeren keeps drawing their attention away from this inhibitor in the top.
There are super minions in the bottom lane now on the Nexus turrets. Candy Panda is melting through the last inhibitor. It is just a matter of time. SK Gaming can decide to engage and let the super minions do the work for them. It does look like they're pushing for the final closure here. And we'll see if they can actually pick this game up.
SK peel around the side, still got that Baron on them. Remember, there's one Nexus turret going down, everything being thrown at them. Zazas taking a massive pile of damage. Good intervention there for Freddy, saving his life. But the second Nexus turret goes down, the Nexus will fall, and SK Gaming go 9-4 in the lead.
Strong victory from SK Gaming. They did not flinch under the pressure of the early game team composition that ROCCAT put together. And I just don't think ROCCAT were proactive enough. I don't think they tried to push the towers. I don't feel that Zazas or Jankos had a real presence in that game. And unfortunately, they lose their winning streak. So 1-4 now in the last 5 games, and SK pick up a great victory.
Veggie said they'd take it one game at a time. They weren't overly confident. And rightly so, SK have proven many times if they get to the late game, and they had a late game comp, they are the best team in Europe. Despite how they played against Alliance, if they can reach that phase, and they did it with ease, honestly. A 5-1-6 Jezzers, 2-1-5 Freddy, 3-1-4 Candy Panda. Nobody was really affected. 2-0-9 for N-rated. Nobody was really pressured for SK game. The whole game.
Definitely not. And I think one of the things that I like to compare between SK and Alliance, because we keep talking about the two teams that are at the top of the table, is how efficiently and effectively SK Gaming finish games.
Yes.
I would dare say, I'm going to go on a limb, and I say it's the only area of the game where SK Gaming are significantly better than Alliance. But it is because Alliance, in their style, is a lot more passive. It is a lot slower. They don't try to force your hand and win now in 3 minutes. They're confident in their super late game. So it's a contrast in styles, but you do have to give credit to SK. In every game, they do get a lead. They finish very convincingly and in a relatively short space of time once they set their sights on